Hello everyone, it's Saoirse. Don't mind my hair, I am testing a color for a cosplay. MegaCon is happening next month and I'm finally gonna do Lilu from Fifth Element, and I tried out this like kind of temporary orange dye, but it looks a little bit red to me. Hopefully it fades orange. Also, I got this new piercing which has been a pain in my ear. Um, but let's dive into looking at your favorite books. I was pleased to see how many of these I actually have. I did a poll on Instagram, both my regular one and my book Instagram, compiled a list of your favorite books, and we got 33 that I don't have, and then I think 15 that I do have. That's a lot of books, so let's go through them. We'll go through the list of the ones I do have first, because I can physically show you. But it was really cool to see all the books that you all mentioned, because it covers such a vast array of genres. There's classics in here. There's things from different series in here. It's all over the place. Let's get into it. There's children's literature. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. First, we've got Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I like this super old copy of it. I don't know whose this was. And I think I've read almost all of these ones that I own, except maybe two. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I'm not really going to do a commentary for this. I just wanted to show you guys what you like to read, because we've talked a lot about my favorite books on this channel. Lord of the Rings, obviously. Some of these that are your favorites are also my favorites. So I just picked out Fellowship as an example, and that's by J.R.R. Tolkien. I would love to get some other editions of Lord of the Rings. I've had those since I was like 8 or 9 years old, and just keep putting off getting some like really handsome, fancy editions. This is one I haven't read yet, but I've had for a little while. Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse. And I got it because it's set in Scotland. But then I had to read Mrs. Dalloway for school, and I really, really didn't like it. Just couldn't follow the style of it. So I've been putting this one off. So tell me if it's really good. Somebody thinks it's good because they suggested it. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen, was not my favorite if you watched my video, but it's a lot of people's favorite. Some of these were mentioned a few times. I was very excited to see a couple people say Villette by Charlotte Bronte, and one of them specifically because of me, because it's my favorite book and I've shared it and talked about it so many times on this channel. Really glad that it resonated with some of you. The Bell Jar, Sylvia Plath. We had a few votes for this as well. One of my other top favorite books. I think I have a top 5, and this is in there. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. And there's another one by him in here. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This light is driving me crazy. This I read in high school. I think freshman year was when I had to read this, so I don't remember anything, but so many people love this book. I think I should revisit it as an adult now. The Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger. You know, I love this book. I get a lot of interesting comments on my Catcher in the Rye video, which was one of my very first videos, so not that I have any idea what I'm doing now, but especially back then, I don't even like to watch my old videos. They're a lot more rambly. If you think I'm rambly now, then... Well, actually, now I've learned how to edit videos, so my videos are significantly longer. But whatever. A lot of interesting comments on that one. It's a very polarizing book, I have found. A lot of people just hate Holden Caulfield. I love him. I relate to him. I think a lot of young, anxious people relate to him. And if you just don't have things in common with that character, then you wouldn't understand him. But yeah, it really makes some people mad. Like, there's a lot of classic books that make people very, very angry because they had to read them. I think that's why they're so mad. And if they didn't like them, they get really worked up about it. Like, it's probably similar to how I feel about The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which we won't get into. But I hated it and was mocked for it in college. We have Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I liked this one better than Remains of the Day, and the only other one I've read by him is The Buried Giant, and that was my least favorite. This one just made me like so uncomfortable, which you know I love. I love when there's just a vibe throughout a book where you're like, why do I feel so bad right now? But like I need to know what's gonna happen. 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I did a video on a lot of these, and this one, I don't want to watch it, but I feel like I just say I didn't get it so many times. This one it was so hard for me, and not just because all the characters have the same name, but would definitely give that author another try, and we have another one by him on the list. The Old Man and the Sea, Ernest Hemingway. This was another one for my freshman year of high school English class. Funny how these books stand the test of time. And you can see my little color-coded underlinings. I wrote little notes in here. First Shark Strikes. Interesting. Wow. You ever like look at something you wrote when you were much younger and you feel kind of sad because you're like, who's that person? Also, I do know who that person is, and they were going through some stuff, and oh, I'm still going through some stuff, and you want to be able to say to that younger version of you that life gets better, but you don't really have evidence for that as of yet. That's dark. But I had a weird dream last night about finding a ton of things I had written in childhood, just like stuff, paraphernalia from school projects and things, and it was a weird, dark dream. Anyway, okay, I haven't read this one yet, but Anna Karenina, Leah Tolstoy. This is a big, fat, chonky one. There was a time when Barnes & Noble was doing $5 classics, and I bought a ton of them. That's when I pretty much got all of Jane Austen's books. And then a few more behind me. That, as I've said, that whole bottom shelf is unread because I have a problem. We've got Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. This one, when it came out, really made me mad that it was shorter because I had been promised that the books would keep getting longer, and then it was shorter than the fifth one, but it ended up being one of my favorites in the series as well, and one of the best of the movies, I'd argue. Okay. Now, I'm going to reference my giant whiteboard to read you the rest of the ones that I don't actually own, but that you said were your favorite books. So, tuck in, here we go. The Goldfinch, Donna Tartt. Also, I'm not going to be able to pronounce everybody's names correctly, I'm really sorry. The Ocean at the End of the Lane, Neil Gaiman. On Becoming a Leader, Warren Bennis. The Book Thief, Marcus Zusak. Germinal, Emile Zola. Asterix in Corsica, René Goscinny and Albert Uderzo. This is also my handwriting. Writing in a very faded dry erase marker is not good. Quantum Success by Sandra Ann Taylor. Complex PTSD by Pete Walker. Got some good suggestions based on how I was just reading The Body Keeps the Score for a few weeks, and now people are like, I see what you like. So there's a lot on here that I would really like to read. Catch-22, Joseph Heller. Jitterbug Perfume by Tom Robbins, Broken Earth Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, The Frontiersmen by Alan W. Eckert, Chronicle of a Death Foretold, that's another one by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. And we have Independent People, Haldur Laxness, Journey to the West, Wu Chengen, East of Eden by John Steinbeck, Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Perla by Carolina de Robertis, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, Three Daughters of Eve by Elif Shafak, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami, Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society by Mary Ann Schaefer, The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, Moby Dick by Herman Melville, The Midwife of Venice by Roberta Rich, Breaking Silence by Linda Castillo, Good Morning Midnight by Lily Brooks Dalton. Okay, I looked up some of these just to see like a sentence about what they were, and some of them sounded so interesting. Lots of like cool fantasy, sci-fi stuff, some nonfiction. What was I gonna say? I don't know, can't remember. I'm reading Outlander right now. I have finally started. It's only been out for like 30 something years, and I finally started reading the first in the Outlander series. It's so long, but I've just got to, you know, it's one of those things, like I read the first Game of Thrones book and it took me forever, but I felt like it was a cultural thing I had to do, and then I watched the whole show and I did not bother with the rest of the books. Because I didn't love the show and I didn't love the first book. But anyway, don't hate me. Outlander, I'm hoping I have a different feeling about. It's pretty entertaining so far. But I thought, as I am going to Scotland next month, I want to read something Scottish to get in the mood. I'm also going to Paris and London and a few other places. This is all for my very belated graduation from grad school. So I'm going to end up in Edinburgh for my graduation ceremony. Please send me good vibes that everything goes according to plan. After it all fell apart in 2020 and I didn't have my graduation, it seems like nothing can go according to plan. And I specifically have a lot of feelings about returning to this place and this school that I feel did wrong by us in a lot of ways. But I need the closure of having this ceremony, and for my mom and I to make it a big fun trip where we go to some other places. That will be good, I think. And she's never been to Paris, so I'm very excited to show her Paris. Not that I'm an expert by any means, but I have been there and lived there for a minute. So, and also we're stopping in Chicago first, so if you have any recommendations on what to do with about 30 hours in Chicago, please let me know. I have never been there. That is it for today. Just a short, fun little video to give you all some ideas if you're looking for your next book. I have about 1 million books that I can choose from at any given time because I keep hoarding them. And yet I go to the bookstore and I want to get at least 5 more every time. Do you have that problem? Okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Until then, happy reading.